Children, welcome back. Today we are here with a new lesson, The Three Questions by Leo Tolstoy. Before going to today's class, I want to tell you something. Have you ever thought how the inner growth of a human happens? For our physical growth, we take food, isn't it? Like that, for our inner growth, we should have some qualities. Scholars tell that we should have the skills of observation, questioning, and experimenting to have growth in our inner mind. The lesson which we are going to study, The Three Questions, is also such a lesson. The Three Questions is a short story by Russian author Leo Tolstoy, first published in 1885. The story takes the form of a parable and it concerns a king who wants to find the answers to what he considers the three most important questions in life. Shall we have a close look on the profile of Leo Tolstoy? Let us listen to the text for a while. Three questions. The thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew three things. These three things were: what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? The king therefore sent messengers throughout his kingdom, promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer these three questions. Many wise men came to the king, but they all answered his questions differently. In reply to the first question, some said the king must prepare a timetable and then follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, he could do everything at his proper time. Others said that it was impossible to decide in advance the right time for doing something. Once there was a king. He wanted to know answers of three questions which were puzzling him. He thought he will never fail in life if he is supposed to know the answers of those three questions. His three questions were: how do I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the right people I need to help me with my work? How do I know which is the most important work to do? The king announced he will give reward to the person who will give the right answer for his questions. The most learned men came to the kingdom. They had a different answer for the king's first question. One of them said, for every action he has to draw in advance a plan. We have to make a table of days, months and years and strictly live according to it. Only with this timetable, everything can be done at the proper time. Let us go back to the text once more. Yet others said that the king needed a council of wise men who would help him act at the proper time. This was because one man would find it impossible to decide correctly without help from others. But then others said that there were some things which could be urgent. These things could not wait for the decision of the council. In order to decide the right time for doing something, it is necessary to look into the future. And only magicians could do that. The king, therefore, would have to go to the magicians. In their answers to the second question, some said that the people most necessary to the king were his counselors. Others said priests. A few others chose doctors, and yet others said that his soldiers were the most necessary. To the third question, some said science, others chose fighting, and yet other religious worship. Another scholar declared it is impossible to decide in advance the right time for doing something. He declared if you avoid spending time idly and invest that time in some worthy things around you, then you can manage the most important task. Some scholars comment, it is impossible for a single person to know which is the right time. So the king has to appoint the council of wise men to know which is the right time. Some scholars contradicted this. One said, in order to know the right time, we have to know what is going to happen next. Only magicians can predict what is going to happen in future. So the king has to consult magicians. Equally, various answers for the same question, who are the right people to help him with his work, came. Some said that the king needs his counsel the most. Some said doctors. Some said priests, while the others said soldiers. The answer to the third question was even more confusing. That moved from focusing on science to warfare to religious worship. The resulting confusions led the king to need the help of a hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. Let us have a detailed explanation. Many years ago, there lived a brave king. Once, he thought that if he knew the answers of 3 questions, he would never fail in life. The 3 questions were, what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? The king therefore sent his messengers throughout his kingdom to find out a person who could answer these questions. From all over the kingdom, wise men came and gave different answers. Some said, prepare a timetable. Some said, to take the help of a council of wise men. And some said, take the help of magicians. But the king was not satisfied with their answers. So he decided to take the advice of a hermit who was known for his wisdom. The king went to the hermit and asked him the same 3 questions. The hermit was digging soil and breathing heavily, listened to him but said nothing. Let us go back to the next section. He greeted the king and continued digging. The hermit was old and weak, and as he worked, he breathed heavily. The king went up to the hermit and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need most? And what affairs are the most important? The hermit listened to the king but didn't speak a word. He went on digging. You are tired, said the king. Let me take the spade and work in for you. Thanks, said the hermit, giving the king his spade. Then he sat down on the ground. Hermit lived in the woods and never met anyone but common people. The king disguised himself as a common man and went to meet the hermit. When the king reached the woods, the hermit was digging the ground for planting herbs. Seeing the king, he greeted him and went on digging. The hermit was old and weak, and each time he stuck his spade into the ground and turned a little soil, he breathed heavily. The king waited, but the hermit continued to work. The king decided that he would ask the questions anyway. I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you 3 questions. My questions are: how can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need most to help me with the work? How do I know which is the most important thing to do? The hermit listened, but do not speak. The king took the spade from the hermit and started digging. He dug 2 bits and repeated the questions, but the hermit didn't answer. That time they saw a wounded man running towards them. Let us go back to the text once more. The king removed the man's clothing and found a large wound in his stomach. The king washed and covered it with his handkerchief, but the blood would not stop flowing. The king redressed the wound until at last the bleeding stopped. The man felt better and asked for something to drink. The king brought fresh water and gave it to him. By this time the sun had set and the air was cool. The king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The man closed his eyes and lay quiet. "Forgive me," said the bearded man in a weak voice, when he saw that the king was awake. "I do not know you and have nothing to forgive you," said the king. "You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore revenge on you, because you put my brother to death and seized my property. I knew you had gone alone to see that hermit, and I made up my mind to kill you on your way home. But the way passed, and you didn't return. So I left my hiding place, and I came upon your bodyguard, who recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from him, but I should have died if you hadn't dressed my wounds. I wished to kill you, and you have saved my life. Now, if I live, I will serve you as your most faithful servant, and will obey you, and I will order my sons to do the same. Forgive me." The king was very happy to have made peace with his enemy and to have won him over as a friend. He not only forgave him, but said he would send his servants and his own doctor to look after him, and he promised to give back the man's property. Leaving the wounded man, the king went out of the hut and looked round for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to get answers to his questions. The hermit was on his knees sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The king went up to the hermit and said, "For the last time, I beg you to answer my questions, wise man." The hermit and the king took the wounded man inside the house. The king cleaned the wound repeatedly and covered it with the handkerchief and with the towel the hermit had. The blood stopped flowing after a few hours, but the king and the hermit continued to take care of the wounded man all night. In the morning, the man was well. He was overcome with shame when he realized that it was the king who had saved his life. "Forgive me," he cried. When the king looked at him, He said, I have nothing to forgive you. Who are you? Said the king. The wounded man replied, I am your enemy from the neighboring kingdom who had come to kill you because you have killed my brother. When I heard that you are coming to meet the hermit in disguise, I followed you so that I could kill you. But your men caught me and they have wounded me. How can I thank you for saving my life? If you hadn't dressed me and looked after me, I would have died. From this day onwards, I will serve you and I will ask my sons to support you. Let us have a detailed explanation. The king repeated his questions many times, but there was no reply. The hermit went on digging. Then the king said, Sir, you are very tired. Please give me your spade. The king took the spade and started digging the soil. Thanks, said the hermit. The whole day long the king went on digging the soil. Suddenly, a wounded man came running off the forest, and he fainted in front of them. Both the king and the hermit took him to the hut, washed his wounds, and took great care of him. Next day, when the man woke up, he recognized the king and asked forgiveness. Let us have a look on the last section. You have already been answered, said the hermit, still bending down to the ground and looking up at the king as he stood before him. How have I been answered? What do you mean? Do you not see? Replied the hermit. If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday and had not dug these beds for me, you would have gone away. Then that man would have attacked. Afterwards, when the man ran to us, the most important time was when you were caring for him, because if you had not dressed his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So he was the most important man, and what you did for him was the most important business. Remember then, there is only one time that is important, and that time is now. It is the most important time because it is the only time we have any power to act. The most necessary person is the person you are with at a particular moment, for no one knows what will happen in the future and whether we will meet anyone else. The most important business is to do that person good, because we were sent into this world for that purpose alone. A little later, the king went to the hermit again. I am asking you for the last time. Can you give me the answers to my questions? The hermit asked. Do you still need an answer from me in words? When you came here to see me, you saw me working here. And when you saw that I am getting tired, you decided to help me. If you hadn't decided to stay and help me, you would have been killed by your enemy on your way back. So, I say, the best time is the time you decided to help me. I say, the most important action was helping me. The most important person was someone you were helping. That means the most important person in your life was first me and then the wounded person. Let us have a detailed explanation of the last portion. The king was surprised to see all this. He did not recognize the man. So the man told the king about himself, that he was his enemy. He wanted to kill him. After listening to him, the king became very happy because he was won over his enemy. The king went out of the hut and looked around before going. He wanted to get the answers of his questions. He saw the hermit on his knees sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug by the king. The king requested the hermit to tell the answers of those questions. The hermit smiled and said, "Son, your questions have already been answered. If you had not pitied my weakness and had not dug these beds for me, you would have gone away and that man would have attacked you. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man. To do good to me was your important action. Again, when the man came running to us, the important time was when you were caring for him. Because if you had not dressed his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So he was the most important man, and what you did for him was the most important action. Remember that there is only one time that is important, and that time is now. The most important person is with whom you are at the time, and the most important action is that which you do to help others." So let us conclude. The moral of this lesson is we have to live in the present moment. We have to help the needy. We have to consider every person as significant beings, whether it is a poor or a rich man. What about an animation? We can watch an animation of the lesson.
Once there was a king. He wanted to know the answers to 3 important questions which were puzzling him. He thought that he would never fail in anything he might undertake if he knew the answers to those questions. His 3 questions were: how can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need the most to help me with the work? How do I know which is the most important thing to do? The king said, "I announce a great reward to anyone who can give the right answers to my questions." The most learned men came to the kingdom. Each one had a different answer to the king's first question. One of them said, "For every action, we should draw up a plan in advance, a table of days, months, and years, and must live strictly according to the plan. Only with this timetable, everything can be done at a proper time." Another scholar declared, "It is impossible to decide the right time for every action. If you avoid getting absorbed in idle pastimes and attend to all that is going on around you, you can manage the most important task." The third scholar said,
"However attentive the king might be to what is going on, it is impossible for one man to decide correctly the right time for every action. I think that the king should set up a council of wise men who would help him to fix the proper time for everything."
Some scholars contradicted this and said, "Some things might demand immediate action. Of course, for this, we need to know what is going to happen in the future. Only magicians can tell the king what is going to happen in the future. Therefore, one must consult them." Equally various were the answers to the second question. Some said, "The king needs his counselors the most." Some said doctors, some said priests, while the others said soldiers. The answers to the third question were even more confusing. They ranged from focusing on science to warfare to religious worship. The resulting confusion led the king to meet a hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. The hermit lived in the woods and never met anyone but common people. The king disguised himself as a common man and went to meet the hermit. When the king reached the woods, the hermit was digging the ground for planting herbs. Seeing the king, he greeted him and went on digging. The hermit was frail and weak, and each time he stuck his spade into the ground and turned a little soil, he breathed heavily. The king waited, but the hermit continued to work. The king decided that he would ask the questions anyway. I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. My questions are: how can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need the most to help me with the work? How do I know which is the most important thing to do? The hermit continued digging without giving answers to the king's questions. He looked terribly tired. The king said, "You look tired. Can I help you?" and took the spade from him and started digging. After he had dug 2 beds, the king repeated his questions. The hermit gave no answer. The king went on digging. The sun was sinking behind the trees. They suddenly heard footsteps. Someone was running towards the hermit's hut. He was bleeding from a large wound in his stomach. He fell, fainting on the ground, when he reached the hermit and the king. They took him inside the hut. The king cleaned the wound repeatedly and covered it with his handkerchief and with a towel the hermit had. The blood stopped flowing after a few hours. But the king and the hermit continued to take care of the wounded man all night. In the morning, when the man awoke, he stared at the king for a few seconds. He was overcome with shame when he realized it was the king who had saved his life. "Forgive me," cried the man when the king looked at him. "I have nothing to forgive you for. Who are you?" said the king. "I am your enemy from the neighboring kingdom, who had sworn to kill you because you had killed my brother in a battle. When I heard that you were coming to meet the hermit in disguise, I followed you so that I could kill you. Your men, however, caught me and wounded me. How can I thank you for saving my life? If you hadn't dressed my wounds and looked after me, I would have bled to death. From this day onwards, I will serve you as your most faithful slave and will ask my sons to support you. Forgive me." A little later, the king went out to see the hermit again. "I am asking you for the last time. Can you give me the answers to my questions?" "Do you still need an answer from me in words? When you came to see me, you saw me working. And when you saw that I was getting tired, you decided to help me. If you hadn't decided to stay and help, you would have been killed by your enemy on your way back. I would say that the most important action was helping me. The most important person was someone whom you were helping, me first and the wounded man later. If that man had died, he wouldn't have made peace with you. Therefore, the most important time is always now. The most important person is the one who needs your help. The most important action is to comfort the person who needs help."
Let us have a quick look on the textual questions and its answers. Let us look at the first question. Why did the king want to know answers to 3 questions? Answer: The king wanted to know answers to his three questions because he wanted to be a successful ruler. Next, we can discuss a very important question. What were the hermit's answers to the three questions? The most important time, the hermit said, is our present because it is the only moment when we have the power to act. The most important person at our moment is we ourselves because the future is unknown and we don't know whether we will meet anyone in the future or not. So, we should listen to ourselves. The most important business is to be kind and good to others because we have been sent in this world to serve this noble cause. I like the third answer because helping someone in need is like serving God. It makes us a good person and brings a sense of satisfaction and contentment.